My daughter and I went to this green metal building in downtown Greeley, not knowing what would be inside. And we walk into this amazing miniature world. And so I'm sitting at the tiny card table in front at the time. And my daughter disappears into this train layout for about 2 hours. And she comes back and she says, "Mom, this is the coolest place I've ever been."
From northern Colorado, right here between the rolling plains and the Rocky Mountains, this is the Greeley Business Beat, your go-to series for conversations with local businesses and the incredible humans behind the scenes that make Greeley, well, great. Join us as we dive into stories of the people and places that make up the very fabric of our community. Whether you're Greeley born and raised or just passing through, we promise to pull back the curtains on some of our favorite community gems and introduce you to the neighbors who make this place special.
Hi, I'm Robert Steinberg, your host today for the Greeley Business Beat. Today, we're taking you on a journey through one of Greeley's most enchanting attractions, the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. This wonder for all ages is home to the most scenic, one-of-a-kind model railroad you'll ever see, guaranteed to leave you inspired. Imagine walking through a real caboose, strolling along breathtaking mountain vistas, and peeking into a miniature world of wonder. Whether you're a train enthusiast or just looking for a magical experience, the Colorado Model Railroad Museum has something for everyone, and we have Michelle Kempema, the executive director of the museum, to explore this incredible local treasure on the Greeley Business Beat. So sit back, relax, and get ready to connect with us in northern Colorado. This is the Greeley Business Beat. Welcome to the studio, Michelle.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how are you today?
I am having a great, lovely day in Greeley.
That's great. So the show is about the Greeley Railroad Museum. So why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about the business?
Sure. Yeah. So Colorado Model Railroad Museum was originally named Greeley Freight Station, right? We had Greeley in the name, but we became so popular nationally that we ended up changing it to Colorado Model Railroad to put what we do in the name also. So we are America's largest model railroad layout in HO scale, and our museum is a visitor experience for the whole family, where you come into a miniature world. And we've kind of evolved over time and grown with Greeley and grown nationally and internationally now.
That's fantastic. Are you from Greeley? Did this opportunity bring you to Greeley? How did you get involved with this opportunity? I know it's a lot of questions, but...
Yeah, no, it's quite a story. Agriculture brought my family to Greeley in 1987. My father moved here to work for Knopfsinger Manufacturing. And so we moved to Greeley, and I went to Greeley West High School. And then I went to college and moved away for a while and ended up being divorced and coming back as a single mom and going back to college to finish my degree. So I went to UNC, and I worked at a homeless shelter here in town. And when David Trussell, who is the founder of the Colorado Model Railroad Museum, when he built it and opened it, he actually did a fundraiser for different nonprofits in Greeley that first year. And he called the place where I worked at and invited us over. And so my daughter and I went to this green metal building in downtown Greeley, not knowing what would be inside. And we walk into this amazing miniature world. And so I'm sitting at the tiny card table in front at the time, and we take dollars from our donor base, and that's our fundraiser at the door. And my daughter disappears into this train layout for about 2 hours. And she comes back and she says, "Mom, this is the coolest place I've ever been. Could we volunteer here?" And I thought, you know what? I am a single mom, full-time college, full-time kids in school, part-time work, and this place brings me joy and I feel peace in here. And so we started volunteering there in 2009. And so for 2009 and 2010, my daughter Anna and I would go in once or twice a month and run the little gift shop. And it was a place of joy in our lives. And we just got to know the Trussell family. And then when I graduated at UNC with a degree in business, Dave Trussell said, you know, what would you feel about seeing if what I've built could be something? Could we make a tourist attraction out of this in Greeley, Colorado? So we shook hands that day, and I agreed to stay for 3 years and see what happened. And on the third year, we put money in the bank, and we've been growing ever since. And every year we've invested in more staff or more programming. And so now we've grown from just me way back in the day in 2011 to a staff of 9. And yeah, we're just a thriving little tourist attraction now.
Did you have any idea what you were doing in the beginning? Or?
None, no clue. And I didn't know a thing about modeling, and I love it. And so when we rewrote our mission statement, we put the word joy in it. Our mission is to educate, inspire, and bring joy to all ages through model railroading.
Did you run into any challenges in the beginning when tried to turn it into a business?
Oh, yeah. One, being a girl in a male-dominated hobby was a challenge. I did get some flack about not having any modeling experience. How could I run a museum? But honestly, we really worked on being part of the community early on, and we've really grown with Greeley and with downtown Greeley. We've already had every state visit us in over 30 foreign countries.
So for those people that obviously are sitting here listening to this right now, describe what it looks like when you walk through the front door of the Colorado
Model Railroad
Museum and you see everything that is in front of you. What is that like? What would you tell somebody if they said, give me your elevator pitch for what it looks like when I come in?
Well, in one sentence, I would say it's a miniature world of wonder. You walk into a world that is not only visual, there's sound. Our trains have sound. We dispatch it. So you hear the engineer asking the dispatcher for clearance to go through the next section of track. So you are inside a miniature world that is 100% alive around you. And you walk into it and you walk through the mountains and you see scenes with rivers and towns and people. And there's little tiny stories going on everywhere around the layout. So when you spend time to actually look at it, which we give you an I Spy game that most people spend about an hour and a half playing when they come in, and you realize that there's an entire world in front of you. And it's all from the power of imagination.
That's fantastic. Having visited myself, I have to tell you that coming into the museum is one of our favorite things to do. And my children love it, but I as an adult love it as well. Yeah. It's a really cool place to go, and you can see some things, and there's a lot of, I don't want to call them fantasies, but you can definitely use your imagination and get caught up in the moment while you're in there.
Yeah.
And it had to have taken a lot of work to get to that point. So in all the years that you've been there has to be a few moments where you just look back and every time you laugh, any like blooper reels, funny stories to tell, experiences.
Oh, we have a lot of those. And I'm pretty sure our caboose is haunted too. That's a good story.
Well, do tell.
So we think our caboose is haunted by a man who used to work in it. And he came to the museum and loved the museum. And we had his 85th birthday there. And then when he passed away, all these crazy things started happening. Never anything bad, but just funny things around the building. And so we just say it's Frank.
What kind of things?
Oh, like our printer will just turn on, or our lights will flicker sometimes, and just some funny things like that. Things move or turn on their own. Oh, he doesn't like Christmas music. That gets turned off all the time. But it's just kind of funny. But we've had a lot of things with the layout, too. We've had some great train wrecks. I mean, it is a model train museum. So we try to film them and make up a great story about what happened. One time we had one of our lights fall on the layout. So we wrote a story about how the NSA showed up and there was nothing to see here, folks. Like something fell from space.
So you have a lot of volunteers that work on the tracks.
We do. Yeah, we average about 100 volunteers from around the country. And they come in and run trains and maintain our museum.
Do any of your volunteers ever like leave stuff laying around that maybe you didn't even realize were there, and then somebody points it out to you years later?
So somehow we went from 5 dinosaurs to about 14. On the layout, and now we just move them all. We had a few things of our own. We had a cellist come and play on top of our caboose. So we actually made a miniature version of him, and we put it on one of our cabooses. And sometimes you'll see that run around the layout, or you'll see him around the layout. We have a lot of little I Spy things that we do. And sometimes for our local businesses, we'll hide something for a special event for them.
Early on, what were some of the challenges that you faced just trying to get it to where it is now?
Yeah. So when Dave constructed the warehouse, it's just this green, nondescript warehouse, right? And he put this gigantic layout in it and he opened it to the public once a week at the beginning. He honestly thought that just model railroad clubs would visit, that the public wouldn't care, that no one else would like it. And when I came in, it was still early on. And I remember when I first started there, I was like, well, I better brush up on that senior market because it's model trains and that's only old guys. But that's really not what we found. We found there's something for every age, every person. But that challenge of getting that across to people was huge, right? And the challenge of finding our front door is huge because Dave put some art on one side, but people don't know what's in the building. And even if you put our logo on it, what's really there? I know people in Greeley drive by it all the time. And I know they look at it and they probably go, I wonder what that is, or they just don't even notice it at all. Because we don't have a whole lot of outdoor stuff. We've actually added a patio this year. You can finally find our front door. We have bronze statues out front that says, this is the entrance. And we look like a museum now. But it took us 15 years to get to that point.
Yeah, that's incredible. And, there's all kinds of community support, obviously, all kinds of events going on. Is there ever a moment where you see something happening in a community and you think, okay, we need to maybe pivot and head in a direction that is different from what we're currently doing? And if so, what does that look like for you?
Well, for us, we have an admission fee, but I know that advertising and admission fees, sometimes it's a problem for people. It's a barrier. And so in our local community, we want to be accessible to everyone. And so we partnered with the library district. And so you can actually check out passes at the Link Library and in Johnstown. And I think Eaton Library is adding this too. And so that way, everyone in this community can come, because we are really devoted to being part of Greeley. Yes, we're an international and probably the most famous model railroad on the planet, but we're in Greeley and this is our home.
That's great. And looking ahead 10 years from now, 15 years from now, one, do you see yourself still there? And two, where do you see the museum at that point?
Yeah, so we are actually actively looking at expansion. We've got land and we have the ability, if we can raise the money, to build something, because what we found is we have this amazing attraction, but we need to be teaching people the hobby. And so the hobby of model railroading encompasses all the parts of STEAM. Science, technology, engineering, art, and math are all involved in building a model railroad. And we found that even kids love to be creative with their hands, and it's all about creativity. And so we want to be able to teach these things. So we want to build some classrooms and creating a larger model railroad museum with a more national base.
So let's talk about Greeley a little bit more in the community. What are some of the most surprising things that have come from the community that you weren't expecting, or maybe that you never thought you could ask for?
Well, I can tell you that pretty much happens every day. Whenever we have a need, someone comes through the door with the talent, the skill, the dollars, the items. Our Christmas collection was that way. I'm just sitting at my desk and this couple stops in and says, we'd like to talk to you about a donation to your facility. And they spent an hour asking me about our future and what we're doing. And then they said, we have every Department 56 Christmas Village piece ever made, and we'd like to donate it to your museum because we feel this is a good home for it. And we went, holy cow. Now, we had to make a decision. Is that appropriate for a model train museum? Well, Christmas villages have houses and trees and people and trains, and it's an entire miniature world. It's just that the media is different and not as prototypically realistic. So we did accept that. And that's a huge piece of our joy, is our Christmas and our Christmas village that we have. So a lot of things like that happen.
That's fantastic. Is there any advice that you would give to somebody who is maybe trying to get into, whether it's the nonprofit, whether it's the museum world, or even maybe someday, they have to replace you 25, 30 years from now?
Yeah, I'm not going to leave because I'm happy. They'll just have to bronze me and make me part of an exhibit somewhere. But advice for people to get into Greeley's nonprofit world, maybe, or tourism world, get to know people. All these years that I've been involved in tourism, I sat on the state's tourism board for many years. And the comment I always got is, how are you so lucky to be in Greeley where everybody knows everybody and they're all connected and supportive of each other? And that's because we take the time to get to know each other.
So true. You and I have known each other now for quite a few years at this point because we worked together in a previous life and in another job that I had at that point.
Right.
Greeley's a city of 140,000 people that feels like a small town of 250 people, right? Where everybody is there to support each other. And I would say that that's probably the best part about living here in the city of Greeley, right?
I agree. And our tourists see it. That's the comments I get from people who visit Greeley. We are nice and we're connected. When they have a question, they always get an answer.
That's true. So, Michelle, you had mentioned that you had come into the business without any previous experience modeling. And of course, that means like building the railroads itself. Is there any advice that you would give to somebody maybe interested in doing something like that? And, kind of what has it looked like for you over the years, organization itself?
So I came in with experience running a nonprofit. I had nonprofit experience. And so when I came to the museum, I knew that we needed to be a tourist attraction. People needed to know that we were there. And I focused on that. And then I looked one day and I thought, these model trains, somebody makes this. Who makes these things? And so I decided to go to the National Model Train Show in 2018, and I met the industry, and they're wonderful. And I found that I've been on a journey over the last 3 or 4 years to learn the hobby. And so I challenged myself to build my own, what we call a module, a small piece. And I did it on my own at home as Michelle and not the museum director. And it was quite an experience. And I'm really involved in the hobby now and an active participant in it. So I've gone from not having a clue about the trains, and I found along the journey that what I love the most are the real trains. And I'm actually a rail fan, and you'll often see me standing by the tracks waving at the train or taking pictures.
That's fantastic. So you could say that your appreciation for what the people that you've been watching do for years.
Yeah. It became real for me. Like, I love the joy of coming in the museum and you're in this miniature world, but I wanted to understand it from the side of the people who built it. And so now I see it from both the side of the people in the hobby and the side of the visitor that comes in. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'm a little bit envious.
Well, it's fun. You can come join anytime.
And I do. I stop by randomly every now and then. So let's do a quick rapid fire round, just kind of to get to know you a little bit more. Winter or summer?
I'm a fall person.
Fall person.
Can I say that on that question?
I think you can.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, there are 4 seasons, and I'm not quite sure why I just put 2.
Probably winter then, if I had to pick one of those 2, but fall, winter.
Fall, winter. Mm-hmm. That's great. Me too.
Awesome.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee.
With a lot of creamer, though. There's a caveat. No creamer, tea.
What kind of tea?
I like green tea.
You like green tea?
Mm-hmm.
Me too. Morning bird or night owl?
Oh, morning all the way. I'm a 5 a.m. person, even when I try not to be.
That makes sense.
Kind of
coffee,
a curse.
then.
It's a blessing and a curse.
What's your favorite place in Greeley that's not the museum?
I love being downtown and eating out, but I like all the restaurants, so I can't pick just one.
That's fair.
Okay.
Okay. I'll take that. What's your favorite thing about Greeley?
The people.
The people.
I love the people of Greeley. They're wonderful. And that's what makes this a great visitor experience is the people.
Yeah. There's always a lot of support. You never know who's going to pick up the phone and call you one day.
Because even when you go into a business, the business owner's usually there and greets you in Greeley, right? Like, we're that kind of community.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Michelle, for joining us today on the Greeley Business Beat.
Thank you.
Love having you in. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you. This is great.
Like what you're hearing on the Greeley Business Beat? Do us a favor and share this episode. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and be sure to leave a review. We'll be rounding up more businesses and attractions each month. So sit back, tune in, and we'll keep dishing up the stories that make Greeley great. The Greeley Business Beat is a production of the City of Greeley in collaboration with 1K Creative. Greeley is one of the few spots in Colorado that combines the best of everything the state has to offer. Beautiful vistas, deep agricultural roots, easy access to the outdoors, and a vibrant and friendly community. Learn more at visitgreeley.com. Until next time, stay connected to the heart of Greeley.